All righty. Welcome to the afternoon in the SDG Action Zone. You are catching on. I love it. So we are super excited for our next lightning talk and all the talks that are coming this afternoon. The first one is on growing food in impossible places. We're going to hear the story of a Sahrawi refugee who built a hydroponic system to grow fresh vegetables in the harsh desert climate of the Western Sahara. His system inspired the UN World Food Programme's hydroponics program, which is now in 4 countries. So once again, innovative solutions in action, in transformative action. So to tell us the story, please welcome the Director of Communications of the World Food Programme, Corinne Woods, and our speaker, Talib Brahim of WFP and Oxfam.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so everybody who's at the back, Paul Newnham, you have to come forward and listen to this. I'm going to actually call people out if you're not listening. You know how we talk in the SDGs about those who are furthest behind, hearing their direct voices. Well, the reason why Talib is here is because we at the World Food Programme failed to do what we all talked about in the SDGs. This time last year, we sat at the World Food Programme and we had this big exhibition on innovation, and there were hydroponics, and we talked about hydroponics and the amazing things that we were doing. What we didn't do was actually start with the story of the person who started this, who wasn't a World Food Programme staffer for years, a humanitarian worker, the people that you always hear. It was Talib. And the only reason, and the moment I discovered it was Talib, is that I sat in Jordan, having just seen low, simple impact hydroponics happening with a woman farmer, and I was amazing at having fed the goats. Then the person who was with me from the World Food Programme said, you know, the person who designed this just sent a video to the Syrian refugees. And it was Talib, because it was refugee to refugee, designing a program that is combating climate change and letting farmers actually do what they do best. So if you're going to listen to one person, listen to Talib. And we at the World Food Programme have to get out of the way and let the people who are doing things speak.
Thank you
Talib,
very much.
thank you.
My name is Talib Brahim. I'm an agricultural engineer, an innovator, and a refugee. Since I was 6 years old, I have lived with my family in the Sahrawi refugee camps in Algeria, a barren desert where sandstorms exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit and drop below 32 in the winter. It nearly never rains. The soil is eroded and not fertile, water is scarce. All those conditions don't favor any kind of agricultural production, which led to the almost total dependence of my people on food aid from the international community for more than 40 years. And despite that, my community faces serious nutrition and health challenges that also impact our future. The Sahrawi traditional kitchen is based on milk and meat, and even today, livestock plays an important role for refugee families. However, as no grass can grow naturally in this desert environment, often the possibility to feed these animals is with garbage or food leftovers, which leads to poor quality and quantity of milk and meat. Knowing that traditional agriculture is not the solution made me look for alternatives to feed the animals, a system that saves water, time, money, space, and efforts. An American friend of mine sent me a YouTube video about high-tech hydroponics, which allows us to grow fresh fodder without soil, using 90% less water, no fertilizers, in only a few days. I was visited by a United Nations World Food Programme colleague who asked for innovative project ideas to help the refugees produce any kind of fresh food. She came at the right time to find the right solution to test the possibility of producing fresh fodder in the campus. WFP Algeria, the WFP Innovation Accelerator in Munich, and Oxfam came together to test H2Grow hydroponics in the campus. We started our pilot with high-tech units that ran on solar power and cost $40,000 each and produced 100 kilograms of fresh fodder a day, enough for 33 animals. It was obvious that high-tech units are not the solution, but they inspired me to develop a local solution, low-tech hydroponics. While we managed to bring the cost of the low-tech units to just 10%, the productivity is still at 60% in comparison to the original high-tech version. So what are the advantages of the low-tech units? They are cheap, built with local materials, easy to use, easy to repair, and easy to replicate. With time, we developed different types of low-tech units, always keeping in mind the specific needs of the refugees and the context. Now we have over 250 units in different variations and sizes. It has become a project that's created by refugees, implemented by refugees, and benefits refugees. Over 1,200 refugees were trained on how to use the units. Hundreds of families are now able to produce fresh fodder, ensuring better health of the livestock and therefore better quality of milk and meat for their families. What I was thinking could be a solution for my own animals has become a solution for a whole community and even other communities, since anything that can be adapted to these extreme conditions can be easily replicated elsewhere in the world. In the last 2 years, I have worked with WFP to replicate and adapt H2Grow hydroponics to different locations and contexts, such as the refugee camps in Jordan, Chad, Sudan, and Kenya, or schools in Namibia. In fact, some great knowledge sharing happened from refugee to refugee on how to adapt this technology to local conditions and make it accessible to local people. I am convinced that H2Grow can be a solution for many more communities around the world who are facing increasingly difficult conditions created by climate change, such as desertification. Hydroponics works not only because it's a good technique, but more importantly, because it allows people to become part of their own solution. Today, we are at the SDG Action Zone. You have the power to create transformative change like this has done for me and my community. Thank you very much.
We'll have a little break before our next panel, but I just had to underscore what you saw happen here, which if you didn't realize it, so often we're having conversations about amazing things happening at the grassroots and then leaders all the way at the top. And the gap never, ever, ever closes. So how awesome to have Corinne up here as a leader at WFP say, we realize that this didn't come from us. It came from someone special, and we have the platform to actually give him a voice. And for that to be inspiring to other people who are in situations like his and might use that solution in their own communities. That doesn't happen, I want to say all the time, but it kind of doesn't happen ever. And so you're really seeing what I like to think of as the new way forward, the thing that will take us into the decade of action, which is empowering people at the grassroots and helping them to amplify their solutions and giving them the platform that they deserve because they are the ones doing the work. So let's have a huge round of applause again for Talib and for Corinne and for all this amazing work. And we'll see you again in just a few minutes.